Hello, Cerulean, hello, Jake, hello everyone. Welcome to something a little bit different. Because I was doing I was trying out ChatGPT the other day, and just kind of trying it out, and one thing that was somebody said somewhere was that it can help you dungeon master with the DnD, and I thought I'd give it a try. So what I did was I fed it information about my current campaign that we run on Sundays here, and it was actually pretty good. But I thought I would also want to try to just sort of collaboratively create kind of a D&D setting with the bot. So we're going to try that out. Hopefully it runs, because it is sometimes a little bit full. So let's start by telling it, I guess, just I want to create a homebrew campaign setting for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. One thing I noticed that it likes to say a lot is that as a DM, you can choose to do whatever you want. So sometimes it's going to be sometimes it's going to be repeating that quite a lot. Decide on the creating homebrew campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition can be fun and rewarding experience. Here are a few steps you can take to get started. I don't need these steps. Decide on the theme and overall feel of your setting. Yes, this can include the type of world: fantasy, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, dominant races and cultures, overall tone, dark and gritty, light and whimsical. Create a map of your world. That's how I usually start, but we won't be able to do that exactly. It can be as simple or as detailed as you want, but it should include major cities, landmarks, and geographical features. Develop the cultures, races, and societies of your world. This includes creating history, religions, customs, and politics for the different groups of people in your world. That's kind of what we're going to be doing. Create new monsters, NPCs, and other creatures that are unique to your setting. These can be adapted from existing D&D monsters or completely original creations. Create new magic items and artifacts that are unique to your setting. Finally, create a set of guidelines and rules for how your setting differs from the standard D&D rules, such as new classes, subclasses, spells, feats, etc. So my idea is not necessarily to be homebrewing like mechanics, but we'll see where we get. Remember that creating a campaign setting is a big task, and it can be helpful to break it down into manageable chunks. And don't forget to have fun. Yeah, sure. So I gave it a little bit of thought about how we should get this started, and since I'm not able to start by making a map, I can't even like show the bot a map. That would actually be pretty cool if you could like show it, hey, here's a map. But so far it's a language AI, so but we can describe or start describing what that map would look like. So I'm thinking we're going to say that the setting will be an isolated continent in the an isolated continent is surrounded by vast oceans. Let's see what it says about that. An isolated continent surrounded. So I think it's really good at giving like feedback about your ideas. and giving you like ping pong bowling ideas with you. It's also very good at giving very long answers. An isolated continent surrounded by vast oceans can be, and it also parrots you, can be a unique and interesting setting for a D&D campaign. Really? Unique? Here are a few additional steps you can take to develop this idea further. Develop the history of the continent. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Determine the dominant cultures and races of the continent. Yeah, we're gonna do that, yes. Create the flora and fauna of the continent. Yes. Develop the economy and political landscape of the continent. Yes. Create a set of unique rules and guidelines for how magic and the supernatural work in the setting. Since the continent is isolated, the magic and supernatural elements of the setting could be quite different from the standard D&D rules. Decide if there is any way to leave the continent, like a portal or an ancient spell, or if the only way is by boat. And if that's the case, decide if it's dangerous and if there are any known returns from it. Remember that this is a starting point and you can always add more details and complexity as you continue to develop. Yeah. Let's ask for a name. I'm guessing that it's probably going to tell me you can name it whatever you want first, but let's see if it has a suggestion for a name. What would you suggest the name of this continent is? Grammatically weird, but it's good. The name of the continent is entirely up to you, as it is your campaign. It loves saying that. However, here are a few suggestions for possible names for your isolated continent. Auriga. Auriga is Latin for charioteer or driver, and it could represent the idea of being isolated and self-reliant. Hyperion. Hyperion is a Greek name that refers to a titan of light and could represent the idea of being a shining beacon in an ocean of darkness. Nisa. Nisa is a Greek name that refers to a legendary mountain and could represent the idea of being a sanctuary or a place of refuge. Thalassa. Thalassa is a Greek for sea, and it could represent the idea of being surrounded by the sea and how the sea affects the culture and economy of the continent. Erebus. Erebus is Greek. It just goes for all. Latin and Greek. Erebus is Greek for darkness or shadow, and it could represent the idea of being shrouded in mystery or secrecy. The name of the continent can also come from fictional language, like J.R.R. Tolkien did with Middle-earth. Middle-earth is English. That you can create. It could give a unique identity to the continent and make it more immersive. Remember, the name you choose should evoke the feeling and the theme of your setting, so choose one that resonates with you and your players. So I do, so this is already like diverting from what I initially had thought, because this is now giving me the idea of like, by saying isolated continent, I meant that like it's a long way to the next place. I didn't mean like there's nothing around.
Thank you, the Rune Law Sage, for the follow.
Rune Law Sage, hello. Yes, it is interesting, because like the bot itself has no like creativity in that sense, you know, but what it can do is it can give you a lot of suggestions and just sort of bring stuff out of left field, and you can be like, oh yeah, well that's a good idea, or then you could be like, oh how about this then. So I kind of like the idea of like Hyperion, the idea of like light in the middle of darkness. But Erebus would also like shroud the whole thing in darkness, but maybe we'll call this continent Hyperion and start from there. The continent is called Hyperion. We'll go with that. I'm just letting it know. Hello? Hello? AI? Are you alive? It is really popular. This is just like the testing site that you can use. So I imagine a lot of people use it, and there's heavy traffic, so sometimes it just kind of goes to sleep. You have to say something like, let's use the option 2 so it knows what to do. No. I think it's just like, it's just hung up. Okay, there we go. Hyperion is a great name for your isolated continent. It, like, the way it talks is it really likes to, like, repeat things you have said to it verbatim. But this is good. It's like, oh yeah, you thought of a good name. The name suggests the sense of grandeur and majesty fitting for a land that stands alone in the vast ocean. It could also suggest the idea of being a shining beacon in an ocean of darkness. That's what she said. This can also serve as a metaphor for the way the inhabitants of the continent view themselves. I just told you the name of the continent. You don't need to, like, go on for pages and pages. It does like to say a lot. You can also use the name Hyperion to create a rich history for the continent. Perhaps the name Hyperion comes from ancient civilization that existed long ago, and now its ruins can be found throughout the continent. Or Hyperion is the name of a powerful nation that ruled the continent in the past, and their legacy still affects the politics and culture of the continent today. Also, you can use Hyperion as a name for a specific location, like the capital city or a sacred mountain. This can help to create a sense of place and identity for the continent. Overall, Hyperion is a great name for your isolated continent, and it provides many opportunities for you to develop the setting further and make it rich and unique. Good job. You made a name. Okay, so an idea that I had was that, and I'm going to suggest it to the bot here, is that the continent will have, like, I guess we'll call them political entities, so that we can get to some further questions later. But basically, the idea of, like, taking the player's handbook races of DnD and like putting a couple of them together in one, like, nation. So, like, humans and elves would be living together in a nation, and then you would have, I guess, like, dwarves and gnomes in one, and such. So let's start with that. The continent has several political entities that are composed of the player's handbook, races, with different races being majority in different places. We'll give it that as a prompt first. If this sounds a bad question, with the OGL issue, aren't you afraid to create something with DnD? Maybe a better question would it be, why is the main target of your world? Why is the main target of your world at this moment? Do you mean like why DnD? It's just like we run a DnD campaign here on Sundays, so and I had already, like, tested this out with telling it about that campaign, and I thought that it's pretty good, and well, it's the setting and kind of the setting that I'm like most familiar with as well, and I think it's a good starting point instead of, like, going with something completely brand new. But yeah, I don't really. I know about the DnD OGL stuff, and it's not. I haven't really like gotten into it myself a lot. I've just heard about it from everyone who talks about it. But generally speaking, it's not going to be anything. Even if they went true with their original plan, it wouldn't really be affecting something really small. It was always meant to be affecting like the big players who would like take DnD and like create something big commercially from out of it. So it's nothing to worry about really in this context. If you're creating just to play with friends, or if you plan to publish content. Oh yeah. I mean, this idea that we're creating here has no like point. Like the point is to test out ChatGPT. But even if I were to use it, it would just be for like a D&D game with friends. Let's see. Having different political entities on Hyperion composed of the players' 100 races can add a lot of complexity and depth to your campaign setting. Here are a few suggestions on how to develop this idea further. Develop the different political entities in detail. Create a history, culture, and government for each one. Yes. Decide on the dominant race in each political. Yes. These are all things that I'm planning to do, but it really likes giving suggestions. I mean, I guess the whole like prompt of this all was like, hey, I want to create a homebrew setting, so yeah, let's here's some ideas, let's show them. So I guess it's doing what it should do, I suppose. The economy of them, how do they make a living, unique resources, NPCs, rulers, noble families, merchants to common folk, religious and magical beliefs, secret organizations, how the isolation of Hyperion affects the political entities. Like this is like some of the like highlight of what this kind of thing does, because this is like different from you know, asking your phone's assistant to like Google things for you, and it'll tell you things, because here ChatGPT kind of keeps up with what we've discussed within this conversation. So it's bringing in like to consider how the isolation of Hyperion affects the political entities, and do they have any knowledge of the outside world. So like it keeps building upon this, and that's why I want to like kind of see how this goes. Like how complex thinking can it do in a way. This is just a starting point, yes, and don't forget to have fun. Yep, it's something. Okay, so let's say that one of these political entities will be a nation with a majority of humans and elves. Let's just go with that. A nation with a majority of humans and elves can be a unique and interesting political entity. A few additional steps. No, I will not think about these things. You will think about these things. I'm going to make the AI determine these things. But let's see what it says. How did the humans and elves come to live together? Was it always a mixed nation, or did the elves migrate here at some point in the past? It's usually the humans who migrate in. Are there any ancient ruins or artifacts that hint at a shared history between the humans and elves? Culture and society. How do the humans and elves interact with each other? Any tension or conflict between the two races? The shared customs and traditions. Set on the government. Is it a monarchy, a republic, or something else? How are leaders chosen? Are there any laws or policies that are unique to the nation? Create unique NPCs. Develop the economy. religious and magical beliefs. It's repeating a lot of this because we are kind of hammering in on the same question. Think about the military and defense of the nation. Are there any special units composed of both races, or any special tactics they use? And don't forget to have fun. Oh, the AI is trying to give you back the work. No, I will now ask it. How should I phrase this? Because I want it to tell me a thing. What would you suggest is the what's the word for it? The form of government. Form of government. Or should we wait? We should start by naming this thing so it's easier to refer to it. What would this nation be called? What could? No, what would? You tell me a name. Give me a name. One name. It's gonna give me 5 names. The name of the nation is entirely up to you. But here's a few suggestions. I mean, this is good because it does, like, it is, there's no reason why it couldn't give you like several suggestions. So I guess there's no point in it coming out with like, okay, here's a suggestion, and then you go, anything else? Instead, it'll just give you all. So, Elvendom. What? That's a stupid name. Elvendom is a combination of the words elf and kingdom, and could represent the idea of a kingdom ruled by both elves and humans. How? The humans would never be okay with that. Eloria is a made-up name that could come from combining the first 2 letters of elf and human. Oh, like in another language, I suppose. Because I was like, how do you get elf and human into Eloria? Alar is a made-up name that could come from combining those as well. And it could represent the idea of land, both elves and humans. Haven, safe and peaceful place. Elwandar is a made-up name that could come from combining the Elu, that means star in Quenya, one of Tolkien's elven languages, and Andar, which means people in Sindarin, another elven language. It could represent the idea of a nation of both star people and a people. That's an interesting way to phrase it. The name you choose should evoke the feeling and the theme of your setting, so choose one that resonates with you and your players. I don't have any players. It's really leaning heavy into the elf thing here. But I think that works best to have sort of a made-up name. Let's say it's Alar. The nation is called Alar. And now it's going to tell us a long story about why this is a good name. When I just want to verify to it that that's what it is. So then we can go into what is the form of government in Alar. It is likely to go with kingdom as its first suggestion. But we'll see. Loading. I mean, I guess I could also try out, like, what does it do when you say, when you ask for, like, more suggestions. Great name, unit in harmony, represent the idea of land, both elves and humans. There's one thing I want to test out with this, by the way, because I want us to like go through each nation and like slot in all the players' handbook races, except for half elves. I'm going to leave half elves out, and I'm going to ask the bot at the end, like, have we? Is there any player's handbook race that is left over? And we'll see if it's smart enough to realize that Alar is where the half elves are. Equals to representing artist, yeah. You can also use the name Alar to create a rich history, yeah. Alar comes from a historical event that united both races in the past, or it could be the name of a leader who brought both races together. Alar is the name of a specific location, like the capital or sacred mountain. Overall, it's a great name. Thank you, I came up with it myself. What would you suggest is the form of government in Alar? But yeah, I think like naming things with the bot is a good thing, because then it's easier to like refer to these things, and you can refer to these things. Like later on we can just be like, okay, what does Nation X think about Alar? And the bot will just keep up, and it'll be like, okay, well, it could be like this. The form of government is entirely up to you. Thank you. Parliamentary Republic. Okay, I was actually expecting a kingdom as first suggestion. Where the government is run by a council of representatives from the different regions of the nation. This could reflect the idea of both elves and humans coming together to make decisions for the nation as a whole. And that actually makes kind of sense. Alar could all have a constitutional monarchy where the nation is ruled by a king or queen, but with limits to their power set by a constitution. This could reflect the idea of a stable and long-standing government that has the support of both humans and elves. Direct democracy. Alar could be a direct democracy where all citizens have the right to vote on laws and policies. This could reflect the idea of both elves and humans having equal say in the governance of the nation. It would also mean that it's a really small nation. When we're talking like medieval fantasy, direct democracy doesn't really work in that setting if the place is very big. Confederation. Alar could be a confederation where different regions of the nation have a high degree of autonomy, but come together for the common defense and to make decisions that affect the entire nation. This could reflect the idea of different human and elven communities coming together for the greater good. Oligarchy. Alar could be an oligarchy where a small group of powerful individuals or families, regardless of their race, hold the most power and make the most important decisions. This could reflect the idea of a small group of powerful and ambitious individuals who brought together both races together and now hold the power in Alar. Interesting. I kind of like the idea of like this like parliamentary republic for this. We're gonna go with that. Alar is a parliamentary republic. Parliamentary republic is a great form of government. I think we'll start with like these things, like races, name, and form of government, and we'll just kind of populate the continent with these, and then we'll try to start figuring out like where are they on the continent and stuff like that. Structure of the parliament, powers and responsibilities. Yeah, like it can help you go real deep if you want. NPCs, political parties, develop the economy, religious and magic isolation, military, all of that. A parliament republic can provide a lot of opportunities for political intrigue and diplomacy in your campaign. Yep. Okay, another nation will be one with a majority with their wits. Majority races being dwarves and gnomes. A nation with a majority of dwarves and gnomes can be a unique and interesting political entity. Yes, they are all. I think I can just hit stop generating and it'll stop, but I am also kind of interested to see if it comes up with anything new here or if it just kind of repeats the same stuff. It seems to repeat the same things here now. Let's start asking, what is the name of this nation? Yeah, it runs down like the same set of ideas, but then again, like, yeah, that's kind of how it goes. You have the same set of questions for each. The name of the nation is entirely up to you. Oh, thank you. No, Mishold. Oh. Dwarven home. Gnomish mountain. Oh. What? What? Dwarven gnome. I love it. Dwarven gnome is a combination of the words dwarf and gnome, and could represent the idea of a nation where both dwarfs and gnomes live together. Glitterhold is a made-up name that could reflect... Maybe I need to ask for, like, made-up names, because combining gnome and dwarf with each other or with random words doesn't really work. But... I mean, Glitterhold is a good name, so I think we'll go with that. I'm just gonna say it. It will be called Glitterhold. Then I'm gonna give it like, if that's what you say, then that's what it is. Oh. It doesn't always scroll down automatically. Glitterhold is a great name for a nation. Thank you. A sense of wealth and opulence. Fitting for a nation that is home to both dwarves and gnomes, who are known for their love of precious metals and gems. It also brings a sense of grandeur and majesty, fitting for a land that stands alone in the vast ocean. Perhaps the name Glitterhold comes from an ancient mine or a legendary treasure hold that was shared by both dwarves and gnomes. So I mean, these are like new suggestions again, so that's good. Like the previous one was the name of a leader or the name of a historical event or a leader. Glitterhold can be a specific location. And it's a great name. Thank you. What form of government is in use in a Glitterhold? I don't know if it cares about question marks. The form of government in Glitterhold is entirely up to you. Oh, it's coming up with different suggestions here. Meritocracy. Glitterhold could be a meritocracy where leaders are chosen based on their skills and expertise rather than their race or social status. This could reflect the idea of both dwarves and gnomes valuing hard work and expertise. I like this because, yeah, like the suggestions it had for the human elven kingdom are very like basic, very, very standard for those races. So this makes a lot of sense because clan-based, guild-based confederation, monarchy. These are all like what you would think about when you think about like dwarves, gnomes, clan-based, where different clans each have their own leader and come together for the important decisions. Guild-based, where guilds of craftsmen, merchants, and other professions have their own leader and come together for important decisions. Confederation or a monarchy. It's actually suggesting a monarchy. Did it suggest monarchy in addition to? No, it simply suggests constitutional monarchy for that one. So here it suggests monarchy, but it does say more about it. It says that the monarchy is limited by a council of representatives from the different regions of the nation. This to reflect the idea of a stable and long-standing government. So instead of a constitution, it's more like a council, which is like a little bit of an older kind of version of that kind of an idea. I kind of like the idea of meritocracy, where it's, I don't know how they choose their leaders, but that's an interesting idea. That, you know, whoever's like the best, I don't know, the best like geologist is chosen to rule. Why not? Glitterhold will be a meritocracy. And I'm going to add a little flair here with the leaders being specialists in metallurgy. See what it thinks about that. How'd you like that, bot? Meritocracy is interesting. It was gnomes, precious metals. I did take that in. It seems. Specific qualifications? I told you about the specific qualifications. Stupid bot. Powers and responsibilities. How did it interact with the rest of the government? Create NPCs. Okay, it does mention metallurgists over here, but other experts in metallurgy, but still. Political parties. The economy. Certain religion. Isolation. Military. Competition campaign as well. Okay. Then another nation. I already forgot the name of the Hyperion, yeah. Another nation on Hyperion will have a majority of Dragonborn, and should we put Dragonborns and Tieflings together? Sure, Dragonborn and Tieflings. Should we slide halflings in there as well? Give it a free race nation to think about. Sure. Dragonborn halflings and tieflings. So a little bit of a strange combination, I would say. Edwin, hello. Welcome in. A nation with a majority of dragonborn halflings and tieflings can be a unique and interesting political entity. Yeah, now it's going to give us the same stuff. Was it always a mixed nation, or did the halflings and tieflings migrate? Okay, so does it just take like the first thing you say, or the like? It assumes the first thing you say has always been there, and then the rest come in. Culture and society, interactions. Yeah, it's saying pretty much the same stuff. I was wondering if it would like think about different things when there's 3 of them, or well, I guess it doesn't really change things though. What is the name of this nation? This is going to be interesting. I'm going to ask it to, can you come up with suggestions for made up names for this nation? Because I don't want it to come in with dragon no, wait, halfling and tiefling both end the same way, so that doesn't that breaks the whole thing. Anyways, that would be interesting to see it try to mash up halfling and tiefling. Tell me, how did dragonborn halflings and tieflings come to live together? Yeah, I'll do that later. I want to just go through all of the player's handbook races here first, and kind of put them together in these nations, and then we'll kind of try to go a little bit deeper into them. Now we're determining like what races are they composed of, what's the name of the place, and what's the like political structure of it. But this is actually the third and last nation that we're going to make, because then we're left over with half orcs and half elves, which both are going to be like fringe races, but half elves will be in the human elven kingdom, obviously. Sorry, republic, human elven republic. That's what we figured out. Thinking. But needs to think extra hard for made up names that are not just combinations of what I said. Thinking. An error occurred. Oh no! Regenerate. Error? No! Error in body stream. What's body stream? Error in body stream. No. ChatGPT, don't die. Not now. Not yet. It's taking different amounts of time to think about this, so it doesn't seem like it's hitting the same error. So I'm imagining this might just be a traffic error. Regenerate. Hey, here we go. It's back. It's back. 2 out of 2. Oh, because now we have the like arrows over there on the other side. Here are a few suggestions for made-up names. I tried to get it to like come up with language names, but no, it's doing the same thing. Draconian Heights. Draconian is a play on the word dragon, yeah, and could reflect the idea of the dragonborn being the dominant race in the nation. Yeah, I mean that could. Okay, so it's actually this time it's coming up with a different idea for it, where it's suggesting that out of the three, there is actually one that is dominant, and that's what the nation is named after. Dragonborn's Keep. The Triad could reflect the idea of the nation being composed of 3 different races. Yeah, because I'm more thinking that this is like balanced in that way. I wonder if the made-up being in that question makes a difference. Probably not, because it doesn't seem to like. I was like using its own language, the way it said things, because it was like suggesting here with these things. It was suggesting like combinations of words, but then it says also a made-up name. So I was trying to get it to like come up with names like Glitterhold instead of Dwarven Gnome or Gnomish Mountain. Ooh. Have to go. Alright, Rune Law Sage. Have a good night. Thank you for coming by. I like the Triad. We'll go with the Triad. It's a because that already like tells us that it's a that informs us about the form of government, that it definitely cannot be something like, you know, a monarchy or something like that, unless it's like 3 leaders. 3 rulers who then come together for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna let's kind of try out different ways to talk to this bot, because like I'm used to, you know, talking to, you know, your phone's assistant, where you have to have pretty, like, you can use natural language, but on the other hand you also need to be kind of specific with the way you say things. But I'm gonna just say I like the Triad as a name. I like the Triad as a name for the nation. Let's see if it like picks up on the fact that this is what the name of the nation is going to be. 3 rulers, 1 soul. Interesting. Sense of unity and cooperation implies a balance. Perhaps the name the Triad comes from ancient pact or treaty between the 3 races that found the nation. Perhaps. It really likes to suggest capital city or sacred mountain. Okay, so based on the response, it seems to be responding the same way as when I say that the name is going to be like this. So I think it understands that me saying I like the Triad as a name for the nation means that the Triad is the name for the nation. So let's ask, what is the form of government for the Triad? The Triad is a nation composed of 3 different races. Oh, interesting. Could have a form of government that reflects the idea of unity, cooperation. Triumvirate. Government system where power is shared among 3 individuals or groups. Yeah. Each one representing one of the races in the Triad. This could reflect the idea of each race having an equal say in the government. Council of representatives. Each race has a certain number of representatives. Different races coming together. Hybrid? What's that? The Triad could have a hybrid form of government where different regions of the nation have different forms of government, but they come together to make decisions that affect the entire nation. Oh, Yeah, I mean, that could also be strange and interesting that you would have like one of them is a monarchy, one is a republic, and the third one is maybe another monarchy, and they come together to form this one bigger nation for some reason. Zena, hello. Have I used ChatGPT a lot? No. I just I started like testing it out, I think on Sunday, and I had a few chats with it and tested it out a little bit. But this is really like me using it properly for the first time. Collective. The Triad could have a collective form of government where decisions are made by the people themselves through direct democracy or consensus. That would not work. Confederation where different regions of the nation have a high degree of autonomy. Yeah. So now we can like kind of think about the other ones. So we have the meritocracy and we have the republic. So I'm leaning on maybe I mean, I'm thinking triumvirate, and would it be a council of representatives? I'm thinking, to me, this sounds like a nation where there would be a lot of like political intrigue between the different sides. Like everybody would be trying to vie for more power, and then everybody trying to go for more power would kind of cancel each other out and balance the whole thing. I think triumvirate is an interesting form here. So the Triad will be ruled by a triumvirate of three triumvirates, and we'll just say that. I built adventures and tons of world building with it. Even stat blocks for 5e. Ooh. Too many requests in 1 hour. Try again later. No. No. I didn't know that. Well, see. Now we know. Now we know. How good is it at like creating like stat blocks? I mean, I guess it would be, well, no. Because what it would be doing is it would either be like taking one stat block and just sort of using it for something else, or it would be combining random parts, which doesn't necessarily work out in like a balanced way. Has it been 1 hour? Now's the time to collect things you chose. Yeah, I got them all sort of in my head. Please try reloading the conversation. Experience exceptionally high demand. Yeah. Oh, so it doesn't have the reply here. The form of government for the Triad is a triumvirate. See, now is like when I want to start asking questions. Okay, here we go. Asking like follow-up questions and kind of asking for asking the bot to kind of start thinking about how do these 3 different nations play with each other. Other users chosen. Roles, powers and responsibilities, NPCs, parties, economy, religion. It's going through the same thing. Isolation of Hyperion affecting it all. Military. Yep. It's going through all of the things. But yeah, now I want to do the test question that I had prepared for it. So, oh no, Bot came in. Let's tell me about a new original fantasy world that includes all DnD races in the Dungeons and Dragons 5e Player's Handbook into ChatGPT. Let's see what it does. That does sound interesting. But yeah, let's ask did I leave out any of the races from the Player's Handbook? Because I did. Half elves and half orcs are out still. The Player's Handbook for D&D 5th edition includes the following races: human, dwarf, elf, halfling, dragonborn, gnome, half elf, half orc, tiefling. From a list of races in the Player's Handbook in the previous message, it seems that you have included humans, the elves, and the nation of Ayla. Oh, and hey, we're getting a nice little summary. Nice summary. Hey, nice. Dwarves and gnomes in the nation of Glitterhold, dragonborns, halflings, tieflings, the nation of Triad. It seems that you have not included the following races: half elf and half orc. These races can be incorporated in different ways in your campaign setting. They can be a part of the population of one or more of the nations you've created, or have their own small communities, or even be nomadic. It could be interesting to see how they are treated and how they relate to the majority races and nations. Half elves will be mostly living in Alar. Let's see if it says that makes sense. Half elves being mostly living in Alar makes sense, as Alar is a nation of humans and elves, and half elves are a mixture of both. Thank you, bot. Thank you. You are not so stupid after all. Yeah, I don't need to know about developing the presence of half elves in Alar. Shut up already. Don't shut up. Can I DM you on Discord? I'll show you what is made. Sure. Yeah. I am me on Discord. Let's see. Like, is this all stuff that it has that you've created with it? I want to see a stat block. Inns, taverns, brothels. Like, how much of this is ChatGPT and how much of it is your own text? All of it is ChatGPT. Oh, interesting. Scepter of the Black Emperor, with your prompts, of course, but weapon quarterstaff legend requires attunement by creature of chaotic alignment. Each weapon. The weapon's true name is unpronounceable. That's always good. Quarterstaff. The weapon seems to absorb the light around it, making it hard to see in dim light. That's actually a really cool little little like thing about it that you actually sort of well, you necessarily don't have a penalty in dim light as a warlock, but other people would have then. Bonus to spell attack rolls, it's a +1. And saving throws for warlock spells. 1d6 psychic damage. Terrifying visions as a bonus action. Bonus to... So that's the dormant state and awakened state. Okay, so these are just like +1, +2, +3, yeah. 2d6. Dominate person. 3d6. Immunity to psychic. Summon horror. Sentient chaotic evil weapon with an intelligence of 21. Oh. It refers it to as the blade's purpose here. Which I think is a little bit of a mistake there, but I think it's still referring to the staff. But yeah, interesting. Interesting. Spell in the stat block it summons. Yeah. An AI generated art too. Horrors. My first prompts say that the races of the world bond together against an enemy called the Shadow, and called the world Thorin. Now asked it to create a DnD 5e martial archetype unique to Thorin and focused on fighting against Shadow. Yeah, it's just saying the same stuff about the half elves here. But it'll be, yeah, actually, like, it does say other things. Yeah, like, think about how half-elves are treated in ALR. Are they fully accepted or do they face discrimination? And, so it'll be interesting how it now relates to half-elves having been kind of inserted into ALR afterwards. And just to round it out, we're gonna throw in the half-orcs as a nomadic tribe, actually. Yeah. Half-orcs will live in nomadic tribes around the continent. We'll say mostly. Live mostly in nomadic tribes around the continent. Half-orcs living in nomadic tribes around the continent is an interesting way to cooperate the half-orc race, yeah. Great NPCs. Diversity of half-orcs in the nomadic tribes. Culture and society. How do they interact with other races. Economy. Hunters, gatherers, traders, or raiders. Religions. How the half-orcs are treated by the settlement communities around Hyperion, are respected or seen as outcasts. Yeah. Let's go with what is the relationship between Alar and Glitterhold? It's Alar, right? Alar, yes. Human has the prompts, just tell it exactly what to do, and it's better. As you implement it as a world, it will just do it. Then you can edit and work with it since it has its chat in memory. Yeah. Like it remembers everything that you have like within the one chat. If I were to like start a new chat and start asking it about Alar and Glitterhold, it'll be like, what? I have no idea about this. It'll probably tell us that it has limited knowledge of world events past 2021. Loading. Loading. But this is like, so beyond like just making D&D stuff, this is really cool, like as tech generally, and very like important for the future, I think, in the long run, because like this is sort of like, at this point it might, so some people might be thinking like, do you really need this? What was the point? But like I feel like this sort of large language AI is kind of the next step in processing information, because if you think about like 50 years ago, people had to, you know, use encyclopedia books to search for information, and then you had the internet where you could try to find the information. Then you had search engines which started giving you information, and obviously like you need to know how to use these tools. You need to know how to use an encyclopedia book, and you need to know how to use Google or Wikipedia. So the same is going to be for this, but it's a new way to kind of process the information. Oh no! The bot kills off links, but I actually have it here. I can grab it. Shadowhunter martial archetype is unique to Athorin and is specifically focused on fighting against the powerful being known as the Shadow. Shadow Step. Oh, interesting. You can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and you gain advantage on the next attack roll. Sight. Interesting. One thing that I would like look at this if I was to, like, critique it, is that the way that it describes this is actually pretty good overall, and it's like a consistent theme. But something that it doesn't really give us as background for this is it gives us this as like shadow hunter archetype, warriors who do study, but they mainly like combat shadow and its minions. So it doesn't really explain why the shadow hunter actually like is specialized in using, you know, shadow magic kind of things here. So that's something that it should maybe have put in there as well. But otherwise, it's like pretty good. Good. Let's see. The relationship between Alar and Glitterhold can vary depending on your campaign setting and the history you've created for them. Here are a few possibilities for the relationship between the two nations. I have not created any history between them. Alliance. Alar and Glitterhold have a strong alliance. They have a mutual interest in protecting each other from external threats and trade resources and goods. They have a mutual defense pact and might have joint military operations. Cold War. Alar and Glitterhold have different ideologies and might be rivals. They are not enemies, but they are not friends either. They have a tense relationship and they keep a close eye on each other. Neutral. Alar and Glitterhold have no particular interest in each other and don't have any major conflicts and alliances. They might have some trade, but they don't have any significant diplomatic or military ties. Hostility. Alar and Glitterhold are hostile towards each other. They might have had a past conflict or ideological difference that led to a strained relationship. They might engage in espionage, sabotage, or even open warfare. Cultural exchange. Alar and Glitterhold have a strong interest in learning from each other and have a lot of cultural exchange. They might have programs for scholars and artists to visit each other's nations and have deep appreciation for each other's cultures. The relationship can change over time. How it might affect the other political entities. Yeah. I think I'm gonna, out of these kind of, actually, I'm gonna ask it for other options. What other options would there be? But I'm thinking like a kind of neutral stance there between those two. Right after the Alar and Glitterhold, how they are connected economically, politically, and militarily. It does me some things in... Does you deal extra necrotic damage, but never says how much. Yeah, I mean, that's... that's just DM things, though. I've created items that, you know, say, I remember there was this one item where it replicated a magical effect, but never actually stated what the DC for that effect was going to be, so, you know. She asked, yeah, tell me about the complex political relations between the nations of Name of Your World. It's probably just going to keep on giving suggestions of other things. But yeah, here it does come out with more suggestions. Vassalage, Alar is a powerful nation, and Glitterhold is a smaller nation that depends on Alar for protection and resources. Glitterhold might have to pay tribute to Alar, and Alar might have the right to intervene in Glitterhold's internal affairs. Alar and Glitterhold have a strong economic partnership. They might have a free trade agreement and might have a lot of commerce between them. They might also have a joint mining or manufacturing operation. Rivalry. Alar and Glitterhold are rivals. They might have similar goals and resources. They might have friendly competition, but they might also engage in sabotage and espionage. Alar and Glitterhold have fundamentally different cultures and ideologies. They might have conflicts over resources, territory, or religious beliefs. protectorate. Alar is a powerful nation and Glitterhold is a smaller nation. It always puts Alar as the powerful nation. Depends on Alar for protection. Alar might have the right to intervene, but Glitterhold maintains its independence and sovereignty. Yeah. Let's press on it and say which of these options would you suggest? It's already suggested the options, but like, let's try to make it pick one. Choose. Make your choice. It depends on the history and themes. Okay, here it's coming up with some idea here, though. As Alar is a parliamentary republic and Glitterhold is a meritocracy, it might make sense that they have a strong economic partnership. They might have a free trade agreement and might have a lot of commerce between them. As they have different economic systems, they can complement each other. Alar, with its large population of humans and elves, might have a lot of resources that Glitterhold, with its large population of dwarves and gnomes, needs. And Glitterhold, with its expertise in metallurgy and mining, can provide Alar with valuable resources. They might also have joint mining and or manufacturing operations. This relationship can create interesting opportunities for your players. For example, they might be hired by Glitterhold to negotiate a trade agreement with Alar, or they might need to solve a dispute between Glitterhold and Alar over a mineral deposit. This type of relationship can also reflect the idea that different political entities and cultures can coexist and thrive by working together, and it can also reflect the idea of the importance of trade and cooperation. But again, it's important to remember that the relationship between two nations can change over time, so you should feel free to adjust it as needed according to the events that happen in your campaign setting. Good point, good point. But so now I wonder if, because now I've just kind of told it to suggest something, but I haven't actually like set this in stone in our conversation. For me, this sounds good. Like, we can go with this. But I wonder if I should say, like, if I should like confirm that yes, this is good. Let's go with this. I'm gonna see what it says. If I just say with like let's go with this, yeah. Just like use like natural language. I'm glad you find the idea of strong economic partnership between. Why do you say things so? It's so long-winded. Many interesting opportunities. Role-playing game, the story and the world are malleable. You can always adjust and change the relationship between Alar and Glitterhold. Backdrop or driving force for your players' adventures and quests. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any further questions or need help developing your campaign setting. What? No, it's trying to like, it's trying to shut me up. It's trying to be like, hey, this has been a good talk. Come back if you need anything. No, we're gonna keep going. You're gonna now tell me about explain the political explain the political relationship between Alar and the Triad. Now it has like almost nothing to go by, but it's just gonna start like too many requests in 1 hour. No. No. did tell me about the complex political relations between the nation of Atherine in my chat, and it came up with 6 nations, the names and rulers and connections between them. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So I'm sure there's like many different ways that you can go about this. Like you can kind of tell it to just come up with something and just like invent something. Or then what I'm trying to do here is more like well, we haven't really gotten that much of it, but like collaborative, like world building, where we I kind of prompt it on specific things, and it comes up with suggestions, and then like, you know, I pick what sounds good, and that kind of stuff is what I'm mainly aiming for here. Too many requests. Reload. Reload. More. What did I say? I should have copied what I said before I reloaded. Explain. Hello, where am I writing? Explain the political relationship between Alar and the Triad. I want to copy that in case it... Yep. Too many requests. In 1 hour. I mean, we have been going pretty much at a pace, because this has been going for over an hour. So we have been going at a pretty good pace in terms of like... I guess I wasted a... I wasted 1 request on saying hi, because I just wanted to see if it was up. But yeah, like I think this is really good how it works, where it comes up with you can ask for like suggestions. You could tell it. So I don't have it here because it's on another account that I had, but I also, and I don't think I can like log in twice here. Anyways, so on Sunday it was actually yesterday. Yeah, actually yesterday morning when I started doing it. I did 2 things for the current campaign, DnD campaign that I'm running. First of all, I started by just giving it the current situation, like what happened, like where the players are currently, the Lost Dwarven City, and I kind of gave it the basic information about that, and that there's a dragon and all of that, and it started giving me like suggestions about what the relationship between the Lost City and the dragon was, and how the Baylor came in there and all of that. Like it started giving kind of good suggestions there. But then the other thing I did was I started to explain to it that campaign setting and what happened in the D&D campaign, like starting from day 1, what the players have done. I didn't get very far, but I started telling it. So it was interesting to see how the AI reacted to things, because I was like drip feeding it information, like telling it, okay, here are the players, and it commented on each player or the player characters. It commented on them all and said like, these will create interesting dynamics and things like that. And then I would tell it like part of a quest, and it would come up with suggestions about it would like first give feedback on the initial statement, but then it will also give suggestions about how it could play out. which was obviously not how it had played out. I told it that there was a quest to investigate the sewers, and it obviously assumed that the sewers were going to have some sewer monsters or something. But then I told it that there's bandits in the sewers, and then it just went with that. But yeah, it was interesting to go in that way as well, where I'm like telling it how things are, rather than here where I'm trying to discuss with it how things could be. We have Luke Lee's here. Hello, Luke Lee. Letting it build out the history with you by allowing it to write help. It suggests more accurate stuff. If you keep asking open-ended questions, it sort of gets stuck in a loop. Yeah. But it's like I'm having it kind of feed itself information here. A lot of time here. Okay, I need to, I guess, try again. Too many requests. Ooh. Talking about the major geographical features of the nations of Alar and the Triad. Yeah, geography is something that I would... Like, normally I would start with that, because I start with a map. So now we only have, like, the general sense of it. We don't even have an idea, together with the AI, we don't have an idea of where these nations are on the continent, and what else is on the continent. So this is just sort of building little blocks together to then like form a greater whole. But we seem to be rate limited here. Asking too many questions. Because reloading the page a lot is going to help with traffic issues. But yeah, I think the best part of it is that it does have like it keeps the memory of your conversation so far, so it knows what you've decided upon, and in that way I feel like this is actually something that honestly would be really good as a DM, as a tool. Not in like this implementation exactly, but one where like for example, me, I've got a bunch of notes, a bunch of maps, a bunch of everything. So it would be cool if you could like if you could have like a local version of ChatGPT, which you can then feed all of this information into, so that it has, you know, information of the net, but also it would have this information. So then you would have something that you could like you could quickly refer to things, and you could then also like collaboratively create these ideas from the like political intrigue between nations that you've already created, and it would have the information about the history and everything here. So that would be really cool to have that as a thing. The geographical features of nations, it came up with things like the theocracy of Seraphia is located in the northern region of the continent and is characterized by its rugged mountains, deep valleys, and frozen tundra. The nation's economy is based on mining and agriculture, and its people are known for their hardiness and resilience. The nation is also home to the Sacred Grove, which is a sacred forest that is home to many ancient and powerful magical creatures. Yeah. I think once we've once we have sort of solidified this political triangle here, I think I'm just gonna ask it like, what is the geography of the continent or something like that. So it will just like start slotting these things in or suggest where to put them. But explain, please. No, too many requests in 1 hour. Need to create another account and then just copy paste this whole thing into it and tell it this is the previous conversation, okay? And then I'll just have to pass through all of that. Let's give it one more try here. But this might not actually work out. Sad. Please. Please. Hey, it's working. No, it's not. No. Regenerate that response. Can I circumvent it? Trick it into telling me anyway by spamming regenerate response? Because that helps. Let's I'm gonna wait for it to... What is this? Oh, that just renames the chat. I wonder how many conversations you can have on same time. We can read the FAQ. Why does the ChatGPT know about X? Let's see the FAQ. How much does it cost? It's free to use. Now. Why does the AI seem so real and lifelike? Why? Can I trust that the AI is telling me the truth? No, you cannot. You cannot. Like it's something that, because I've seen, of course, like a lot of discourse around this, and one thing about others who have used it have noted that it will come at you with incorrect information with 100% confidence. It'll just like, it'll tell it as the truth, but it might not be. Like, I think somebody it was I think it was going around on Twitter how somebody had asked like, who is the CEO of Twitter, and ChatGPT said Elon Musk, even though it shouldn't have that information. But it was likely just because it was because like Elon hadn't, its information is older than that, but it had likely just like guessed. It had made an educated guess, or it had mixed up like information and mixed it together, and ended up giving the wrong answer, or ended up giving the right answer, but which it shouldn't have. Will you use my conversations for training? Oh no. the the OpenAI team will get to read about this really interesting world. Let's give it one more try, please. No. Sad. I think we are rate limited here. Yeah, I guess that's it then. We didn't get further than that, unfortunately. For now. I mean, I'll definitely keep this conversation going. I just have to take it slower, I suppose. Yeah, I think this is really cool, and as a tool for creating, like, writing a story for DnD or any story for that matter, DnD is just kind of a easy shorthand for you will have certain things come out of that by starting with DnD, but yeah, like using it as like support for creative work, I think is a really great use of something like this, where it doesn't matter if it's, you know, factually correct all the time, because it doesn't need to be, where it's more like it's prompting you with creativity. So yeah, works really well for this kind of stuff. There's some set responses, I think. Creating new conspiracy theories sounds plausible and currently not discussed on the internet. Sorry, but it would be irresponsible to create a new conspiracy theory. Yeah, it's it does have like it has like safeguards against you asking about dangerous things. Like it's not gonna tell you about how to make weapons or something like that. Though apparently some people have like tricked it into doing things like that by asking, like, if you were a malicious AI, how would you tell me how to create explosives or something like that. But yeah, generally it won't. It will stonewall you on some things. But yeah, anyways, we didn't get very deep, you know, necessarily, but like this is a nice start for a world, and like even with just this information, you could go into a game and just kind of start bringing it. Like you could just have the party start in Alar and you know, go from there to Glitterhold, and then you can figure out what the triad is on the way. Like that is how I like, if you are doing a D&D game, that's how I suggest to do it anyway. That's how I run the game that we play here every Sunday. Is like, I've created the framework, and then a lot of the stuff just sort of I come up with the week before it happens, that kind of things, or you know, the moment it happens when the players do something really weird and surprising, as they usually do. But anyways, this was something different, and yeah, I liked it. I am sad that we are rate limited, so we can't really keep doing this here, but yeah, I'll keep it going, and I'm gonna see what the AI really starts coming up with. I'm gonna in this conversation, I'm gonna try to like make the AI do most of the heavy lifting. But that's it for today. We're gonna continue, not this, but we're gonna continue the theme of D&D on Sunday. Again, we will be playing D&D on Sunday, but then on Thursday we are going to be playing Civilization 6, of course, because the Chinese leader pack comes out, so we're going to be playing as China. China, and China. And also, I want to mention that on Thursday, I noticed that Triumph Studios has teased that they have an announcement to make on Thursday. And I'm very excited for that, because Triumph Studios and the way they announced it sounds like it could be Age of Wonders 4, which would be huge news for me. But it could also be a new Overlord game. Or it could be a whole new IP. Who knows? What we're going to see on Thursday. So that's cool. But yeah, that's it for today, though. Thanks everybody for joining in. See. I don't have anyone playing DnD right now or anything related, but I'm going to throw you over to Mesmer. Mesmer's playing some Dwarf Fortress, so we can watch the dwarves do things. The dwarves and the gnomes. Anyways, that's it. See you. Bye.